On the night of December 25, 1996, the Ramsey home in Boulder should have been echoing with laughter, warmth, and holiday cheer. Instead, those walls became a tomb of silence, broken only by the sound of death. JonBenét Patricia Ramsey, born August 6, 1990, in Atlanta, was just 6 years old. A sister. A daughter. A bright spark of innocence extinguished too soon. She was no ordinary child in the public eye. She was crowned in glittering pageants, America's Royale Mississippi Little Miss Colorado. A darling of the stage, but still a child who loved dolls and Christmas magic. And yet, by dawn, her life would end in horror, not fairy tale. If you skip this story, you're ignoring a murdered child. Subscribe now, or step into the comments and tell the world why you'd rather look away. That Christmas evening, the Ramsey family attended a festive gathering. A quiet dinner. Laughter. A bowl of pineapple waiting in the kitchen. Details so small, yet later, they would fuel a storm of suspicion. Then, at 5:45 a.m., a frantic 911 call ripped through the quiet morning. From that moment forward, nothing in the Ramsey household would ever be the same. By morning, this cozy Christmas tale would become a nightmare etched in the memory of a nation. December 26, 1996. The Ramsey household awakens to chaos. At 5:45 a.m., Patsy Ramsey discovers a chilling, 3-page ransom note, demanding exactly $118,000. The same figure as John Ramsey's Christmas bonus. Coincidence, or calculation? Hours later, the horror deepens. At 1 p.m., John descends into the basement with a family friend, and makes a discovery no parent should ever face. JonBenét lies lifeless. Duct tape sealing her mouth. Nylon cord biting into her neck. A garrote fashioned from a broken paintbrush handle, a homemade weapon of cruelty. Her tiny body shows pineapple still undigested in her stomach. But the crime scene? It collapses before investigators' eyes. The father carries her body upstairs. Friends wander freely. Evidence is trampled, smeared, contaminated. The first, fatal mistake in a case that would never heal. And outside? A media circus erupts. Pageants. Wealth. Privilege. The Ramseys' polished image is paraded, and then shattered, before a ravenous press. Suspicion builds. By 1999, a grand jury votes to indict John and Patsy Ramsey for child abuse leading to death, and for obstructing the investigation. Yet the DA refuses to prosecute. Time runs out. Justice stalls. Then the narrative shifts. In 2002, a new district attorney embraces the intruder theory. By 2008, DNA found on JonBenét's clothing is linked to an unidentified male. The Ramseys are officially cleared. But the letter of exoneration carries no legal weight. For the public, doubt lingers. For JonBenét, the silence grows louder. If you don't subscribe after hearing this, you're letting miscarriage of justice become the norm. So either pause and hit subscribe now, or confess in the comments why you chose to turn away. The autopsy is merciless: homicide. Asphyxia by strangulation. Skull fractured by a crushing blow. Sexual elements suspected, with the garrote and bristles pointing toward staging, or something far darker. Footprints in the basement. A broken window. A bowl of pineapple in the kitchen. Unidentified DNA in her underwear. Each piece screams for clarity, but together they form only a fog of contradictions. Every answer leads to another question. Every theory to another dead end. The case unravels, just as JonBenét's memory is being buried under a mountain of speculation. The case should have been solved. But instead, it fractured into 1,000 competing narratives. DNA once hailed as a silver bullet, now shrouded in doubt. Experts warn, those traces may not be a killer's at all. They might stem from factory contamination, from innocent transfer. The supposed smoking gun could be nothing but static. Then there's the infamous 911 call. Patsy's voice frantic. John's low murmurs. And some audio analysts insist a third voice can be heard. A child. Whispering, "What did you find?" If true, it places Burke in the heart of the moment. But experts are divided. Was it a voice at all, or just auditory illusion? The media runs wild. Tabloids print guilt like headlines. The public convicts the Ramseys before a trial even exists. Then, in 2008, a DNA letter clears them. But legally? It means nothing. No court order. No ironclad shield. Just a good faith opinion, unable to erase suspicion carved into public memory. Fast forward to 2024. Netflix drops Cold Case, Who Killed JonBenét Ramsey? Directed by Joe Berlinger, it reopens the wound, spotlighting investigative failures, missed evidence, and the haunting potential of new forensic technology. For a brief moment, hope flickers again. Meanwhile, psychological profilers step into the chaos. Lou Smith argues an intruder staged the scene, someone sadistic, patient, practiced. FBI behavioral specialists concur. The garrote, the staging, the sexual elements point to an outsider predator. A shadow that slipped through Boulder's cracks. But inside the family, scars remain permanent. Burke Ramsey, legally cleared, sues CBS for painting him guilty in the public eye. He wins the case. Yet the stigma? It will follow him forever. And John Ramsey, every interview shows a man still burning with unanswered questions. Still haunted by what he lost that Christmas night. And now I'll ask you directly, if you just watched this and didn't subscribe, you're letting history rewrite itself while a killer stays free. Hit subscribe, or explain your silence in the comments. The mystery ripples forward. Every documentary reopens wounds. Every debate stirs division. And through it all, JonBenet's ghost lingers, demanding the justice she was denied. JonBenét Ramsey, a little girl whose story shook the world. The facts remain chilling: she died from strangulation and head trauma. Her family? Cleared by DNA. And yet, after all these years, the case is still officially unsolved. But the questions refuse to die. Was that DNA truly legitimate, or was it the result of contamination? Was there ever an intruder in that home? Or, did the earliest investigative failures doom this case forever? A 6-year-old life, extinguished on a holiday night. And decades later, the questions still burn. Until they're answered, her justice remains out of reach. So I'll ask you this: subscribe now, because her justice depends on you refusing to look away. And if you won't? Then go into the comments and admit you turned your back on her truth.